It's that time again. Time again for me to review another game from my childhood. Now, as a kid, I kind of didn't know how to pronounce the name of this game. Astyanax? No. The proper pronunciation is Astyanax. It means protector of the city and it's from Greek mythology. The character in the game actually specifies this as well. There's also a species of fish named Astyanax. The game itself isn't based on Greek mythology, however, it's simply the name of the game. That is, if we're talking about the arcade version of the game. See, the arcade version of this game came out in 1989 in Japan and 1990 in the US. The character in the arcades isn't called Astyanax, even though that's still the name of the game. His name is actually Roche, whatever. The game is completely different from the NES version. But I digress. Let's focus on the NES version of the game. It begins with the story. Astyanax, I'm not sure if that's his first name or last name, is a kid who attends Greenview High. He has recurring dreams of a girl, known as Princess Rosebud, calling out to him. There's a scene of him walking around on a sunny day, and let me tell you, this part right here used to scare me as a kid. I thought he was staring right at me. He's mysteriously transported over to the realm of Remlia and greeted by Cutie the fairy. Seriously? Cutie? Aww. She gives him the 411 on the situation, gives him an axe, and tells him that if he wants to go back to his own world, he has to save the princess and defeat Blackhorn and his minions. As a kid, I don't think I was mentally prepared to experience the awesomeness of this game. As soon as I pressed that start button, I was experiencing Astyanax. One thing I wonder is, why is Astyanax wearing a skirt? Anyway, off the bat, you notice that your life is represented by hearts. You have magic powers such as flames, lightning, and stopping time. You can change your magic power by pausing the game and selecting the magic with the directional buttons. I don't know what that symbol is. You also have a power meter, and every time you take a swing, it depletes and you have to wait until it fully recovers to be able to swing to do more damage. It's similar to King Arthur and the Knights of Justice on the Super Nintendo, but I do not want to talk about that game again. There are different power-ups in the game that are encased in these weird ornaments. Items that increase your health, your magic power, and even upgrade your weaponry. I find it a tad funny that the power-up insignia is an axe, but it gives you a different weapon. So most stages you'll have sub-bosses before you fight the end boss. They usually have no life bar, which is weird, but most of them die within a few strokes of your weapon. The first end boss is this strange creature that is later identified as Caesar. He rides a dragon and you start out by hitting the dragon's head. Once the dragon dies, this guy is a piece of cake. Afterward, you get the very first cutscene of the two main bosses, Blackhorn and Thorndog. This skeleton-looking guy's name is Thorndog? You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. In stage 2-2, you're walking upwards to get to where you need to go. There's another stage where you travel down to get to the end of the stage, so the developers tried to be very creative here. Some enemies in this game are just really annoying, like these mouths that appear at the bottom. It's difficult to hit them. Sometimes I have to waste my magic power just to be able to proceed. This sub-boss here is just annoying. When his horns begin to charge, he summons rain and it hurts you. It's also unavoidable. I see no way to be able to dodge it. I swear, this boss here looks a lot like Krang.
Well, Shredder, how's the air down there?
You get another cutscene of the villains, and I'm not a grammar Nazi or anything, but this punctuation error here just bothers me. Don't worry, sir, comma. This is our territory. It's supposed to be written, don't worry, comma, sir, period. This is our territory, period. Punctuation is everything, folks. You can't just live your life mispunctuating sentences. It's not ethical. The queen of linguistic prescription, the great Miss Lynn Truss, said it best. Punctuation marks are the traffic signals of language. They tell us to slow down, notice this, take a detour, and stop. Now, let's get back to the game. You know, I also noticed something weird. The stages in this game aren't called stages. They're represented by the letter R. I'm assuming the R stands for round? Round 3? But these can't be rounds. It's not like this is a fighting game or anything. So what's that R stand for?
R. What's that stand for?
Robin.
Anyway, in round 4-1, this was as far as I would make it as a kid. Those piranhas there would make it incredibly difficult to get through this stage. Your jumps have to be dead accurate because those little fishes could make you fall. Those big piranhas sometimes appear out of nowhere, so step with caution. Towards the end of the stage, round, the sub-boss is a skeleton. He's no big deal. In the grave round, this is where your time-stopping power is going to come in handy. But don't use too much of it, however, because you're going to need your special abilities against this creepy thing. In round 5, you're outside Castle Blackhorn, and judging by the number of enemies you're bombarded with and that cool song, you know it just got real. By this point, your power meter is pretty full, and you'll always have Astyanax's strongest weapon, which is this sword. Most enemies die with a single stroke. After beating the sub-boss, which is some griffin-looking monster, you have to scale up from the dungeon. From there, you've made it to the maze, the hardest and most annoying part in this game. There are several doors in this stage. You have to go through the correct ones in order to advance in the stage. Go inside the wrong doors, and you have to start back from the beginning. There's a trick to get through this part that's easier. Just go through the doors that have a skeleton warrior by it. If you went through all the correct doors, you'll end up in this strange part of the castle, and you have to fight this sub-boss at the end. He has the ability to stop time, so be careful. From there, you meet Horndog face to face and engage him in combat. Now, why doesn't he look like he did in the cutscenes? In any case, you have to destroy his hand and then attack the mid part of his body, which I'm assuming is his heart. After you defeat him, Thorndog casts a spell, and Cutie has to sacrifice herself in order for Astyanax to escape. Aw, poor Cutie. Aww. In the final stage, you fight all the sub-bosses one after another in some sort of gauntlet match. Once you reach the top, you finally meet Blackhorn. After a cutscene, it's just you and Blackhorn, one-on-one. He actually has two forms. His human form and his last form, which is a dragon of some sort. Why is it that all the bad guys always transform into dragons? When his chest opens, you attack his heart. Once he's defeated, Princess Rosebud thanks you and offers to take you home. Astyanax makes it home, and Cutie has been reborn in the regular world and greets Astyanax as he arrives. To a lot of people out there, Astyanax is one of the greatest examples of the term hidden gem in video games. The story is decent, the music is epic, it presents a very reasonable challenge. I play this game every chance that I could get, and I love it every time. Believe me, it was such a pleasure to review this game. So, what does the future hold for me? I don't know.